Hey YouTube, what's going on guys? My name is Travis and I want to thank you for checking in with another TDH upload. Today's video we're going to be picking up where we left off working on my 1983 Formula F20. If you guys are new to the channel or if you haven't seen any of the most recent uploads, be sure to go check out the playlist and that'll bring you guys up to speed. We are currently bringing this old girl back to life. You can see I've got the short block here behind me and we're waiting on just a few more parts. I'm going to show you guys what did show up already. The last bits should be arriving today or tomorrow, but I've got a brand new one-piece oil pan gasket from Fel-Pro here, ready to rock and roll. I've got a brand new intermediate shaft and a brand new oil pump strainer. Those guys are here on the shelf. All brand new parts. Whoa, 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 I'm dropping stuff. I'm waiting on my windage tray from Summit Racing, my piston rings, and then my oil pump gasket. The oil pump will not be here till Thursday though. That's gonna be waiting no matter what. I do have lifters showing up today. They should be here within the next hour or two. A brand new timing set, 2 new sprockets with the chain, the entire front timing cover gasket with the front main seal, a rear main seal, and I think that's really all that I have. We're about in the final stretch. The last thing that we're gonna have to really do, I already started, but the pistons, they need to be cleaned up. Pistons and connecting rods. We're gonna have to strip these guys down. Probably won't pull them apart all the way, but at least good enough to where I can soak them in some parts cleaner or some brake cleaner or something. They need to be cleaned up so that way I can get the new rings on there. And then flex honing the block is really the last thing that we've got to do. Here are some items that I've cleaned up. The oil pan. I've got all of that rust and nastiness and all that stuff that was built up that you guys saw in the last upload. That's all out of there, and then I put about 3 or 4 coats of some black paint on there just to pretty it up a little bit and protect it from the elements when it gets in the boat. Same thing with the oil caps, the fill caps there, and then the valve covers. They've been cleaned, soaked them down in some Ospo, made sure I knocked down all of that rust and all of that buildup. Some of these spots where you can see it's kind of tough right there, I've chased it out with a wire wheel. And I've gone over and over, probably about 3 or 4 times trying to get these guys cleaned up the best of my ability. You guys can see I left the serial number tags on there. I wanted to, let that be original. And the next thing on the list would be the bell housing. I've got to clean this guy up. It's just gross. You guys can see it doesn't really need paint, it just needs to be cleaned up, and I want to do that before I get it back in the boat. I know I'm talking a lot, but I just want to bring you guys up to speed. Now, I was working on the cuddy cabin. We'll crawl in the boat in just a couple minutes and I'll show you guys that, but I had too much storage. I've been filming on my other iPhone with my little stand that I've got for it, but this is the little iPhone that I'll use because it doesn't have service or anything, and it films pretty good, 1080 and 30 FPS, so 60 FPS. Does good filming. Anyways, what I'm getting at was I had that guy up there and I think it stopped recording when I was cleaning out the cuddy. I ripped out the headliner and just all that nasty stuff that was in there and did a big deep clean, and I lost that footage, so I don't have that. And then off camera I ripped the pinstriping off of the boat, and I say I ripped it off, but I actually was able to peel off the 2 black lines, the black solid line, this guy and this upper one, and then the rest of them I had to hit with an eraser wheel. So if you guys look on this side of the boat here, you can see a few spots where the eraser wheel kind of nicked into that base coat. Somebody definitely reshot this boat. If you look closely, you can see the original dark red here versus that new red, and you can kind of see that dark red behind that new red. But what I'll probably end up doing is hitting this, with some 220 or some 320, scuffing it up, and then just getting a can of clear and having my boy help me spray it, or we'll get some gel coat. But that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to set up the camera, and I'm going to start ripping off this side of this pinstriping, and then I'll show you guys the cuddy. We're going to clean up the cuddy some more, and I started to dig into the wiring in the back, so I'll show you guys that. So let's get to work. If only I could work as fast as I did in that time lapse. It's quite a bit of work getting that stuff off, but that eraser wheel really makes quick work of it. You guys can see that I've got some spots that I've missed. I haven't gone crazy with it, but you can see that it comes right off with my fingernail. I was gonna wait until I got some rubbing alcohol and use the rubbing alcohol to take that stuff down rather than using the acetone. The acetone seems to be a little extreme, and if you look pretty close on the other side where I wiped with acetone, you can kind of see how it's dull. Like this area, actually it may be tough for you guys to see on camera, but this is a bit duller than this, and I wiped that with acetone. So I just want to be careful, you know. I don't want to go too crazy with it. I'd rather scuff up the clear with, you know, some 220 or 320 rather than taking it all off with acetone. But she don't look too bad without those pinstripes. I'll probably end up doing another black stripe on the top and a black stripe on the bottom, and I may bring the gray stripe back. I'm not quite sure, but she does clean up nicely when that that stripe is off. It does look a lot better when, you know, it's not flaking off and looking kind of cruddy. All right, let's climb up into this boat. I'll show you guys the interior. Alrighty guys, now that I'm done peeling off that pinstriping, I'll go ahead and show you inside the boat. I got the cover pulled up. So what I've done so far with the wiring, this is the last bit of speaker wiring that's hanging right here. There's just 2 screws that I've got to pull down, but aside from that, I started pulling out all the speaker wiring that was up and ran up all the way around the boat. Disconnected all of the radio nonsense that was wired up to back here. That's all disconnected. I pulled down some of the old wiring harness that was in here that was kind of just ran down to the stern drive. Wasn't really doing anything. Wasn't hooked up to anything. I guess somebody just left it there after they put, looks like this newer harness in. This looks to be a newer harness for the trim tab reservoir and then actually the trim tab motor. So I think that guy needs to be cleaned up. You can see all those wires, they've been disconnected, and I know that they go to the battery. I've just got to figure out the harness for that. And then I've got to get some more battery cabling. Once I do that, I'm thinking about maybe relocating this guy up here somewhere, so that way it's accessible, because I do plan on putting a sun deck up here, and the back seats will probably end up being right around here. So it'll probably be back seats right here, co-captain, and then captain with the sun deck on the top. So that's my game plan. We'll crawl into the cuddy real quick. I brought my little headlamp so that way you guys can see in here. Oh, so what I've done, like I said, was pull down all of this headliner. I still got a little bit that I've got to pull down over here. I just cut this, but I've actually got to pull out the screws on the trim, the teak trim, and then this guy's actually just chilling up right now. You can see both the screws are out. I went to town cleaning all of this. I have never seen so many freaking ladybugs inside of a boat. And then all of this was filled up with just straight nastiness. I'm guessing that some sort of critter got in here, or rodent or something, and was chilling in here. But all of this has been cleaned with that bilge cleaner that I used. Like I said, this is kind of just hanging out here for right now. We'll look up under here. This has all been cleaned up. All of this nonsense. You can still see a little bit of my residue from cleaning. All of that black stuff was actually up along the keel there and all the way up to the front of the bow, but it's all gone. And like I said, headliner is gone. I'm gonna be cleaning all of this nonsense up. We'll get a new headliner up. And my game plan for this carpeting here, I'm going to attempt to try to carpet clean it. And if that can save it, then I'll do that. If not, it'll have to come up too, but I'll have to rip up the rest of the teaking, the teak trim up there, and obviously I've got to pull down this wall to get the remaining bit of that out. I had to do the same. You can see this wall is loose, and it's gonna need to be replaced because that wood is rotted on the outer edge. The center of the board is solid, but this whole outer edge is rotten. But that is that, guys. I know I'm talking a lot. I feel bad. I just run my mouth in these videos, but I do want to keep you guys, you know, up to speed on what's going on and everything that I've done to the boat. So that's kind of it for right now. So it appears that I've jinxed myself, guys. My old lady just texted me from the house and told me that one of the packages showed up, which ended up being my timing chain set and then my gasket set for the timing cover along with my front main seal. But unfortunately, the lifters and the rear main seal are lost currently. That's what the update is online. Tomorrow, I'm supposed to receive the piston rings and the oil pump gasket and also the oil pump, all from Summit Racing. So hopefully that stuff shows up, and that can kind of make me feel better. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just reorder the lifters and reorder the rear main seal, so that way, in case it is truly lost in shipping, I can have another one on the way, so we can get this thing reassembled this weekend. And hopefully, if we can get it all together, you know, to a T, I can upload that assembly video and then do another video of it running on the stand. If we can get it running by jumping the harness in there, getting it all set up and ready to rock and roll, so that way I can hear it, make sure it doesn't leak or anything before I drop it in the boat. Can't even drop it in the boat. If you guys have been following along, we have to do the floors in this thing. There's a couple spots that are really soft, and I'm not going to just throw the motor back in there and throw carpet back over this floor and act like everything's a-okay. I'll show you guys real quick. If you look down here in this little corner from the fuel tank into the bilge, and then also that far corner, there we go. Kind of weird pointing the opposite way, but in that far corner over there, it's really soft and it's actually cracked through. So once the motor's all together, running, driving, and healthy, then we can move on pulling those floors up, pull the gas tank out, check the gas tank, clean the tank, do whatever I got to do to make sure the tank's good, and then we can do the new floors. And once that's said and done and the bilge has been cleaned up and those cracks have been repaired, blah 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 blah, I've explained this 100 times, once that's all done, then the motor will go in the boat, and then we can start getting serious with this outdrive. I think what I'm going to do with the outdrive is actually take the Merc Cruiser one that I have, soak it down, see if I can't clean it out, put a new impeller in it, put a new shaft seal kit in it, and then see if I can't save the input shaft with those U-joints. If I have to buy a new input shaft, I'll do that with new U-joints, and then I'll slide my bearing set over that and see if I can't run it for a season. That'll give me some time to set some money aside for an SEI. But either way, we've got a lot of things ahead of us, so I appreciate you guys for watching so much, and I hope that you guys look forward to the content that I'm going to be bringing to you with the boat. I know that I've said in one of my trailer videos on the channel that I only wanted to film and upload videos that I felt like I enjoyed and that you guys would enjoy, and content that was good or decent content. I don't know if this is good content, but you guys get the point. Hopefully you'll be on the lookout for some uploads, and hopefully we can put this thing in the water soon. So thank you so much, guys. I will catch you in the next one. Later.